he's really interested in, but he's that close. But he's a lot of other things. You know, this man, I run across him in a lot of different places. Whether I'm at Rotary Club, whether I'm at some special event in the cities, he's always there and he's always giving his time and talent. There's something interesting about this gentleman that I didn't know until a few weeks ago. He's a knight. And everybody looks at me and goes, what do you mean he's a knight? Yes, he's a knight. You know, sword, He truly is. The governor, or not the governor, excuse me, the president of Spain, king, pardon me, he's a king, yes, I forgot. How he doesn't forget he's missing one ear from where the sword came down. No. The king of Spain recognized him with the highest honor that any non-Spaniard can get in the country, and that's knighthood. And it was for all of the things that he has done in his lifetime to help people to succeed and to grow. And if you look at some of the charities and some of the major works that this gentleman supports, mentoring is right up on the top of the list. He's an outstanding man. He believes in everything that we are talking about today. He does give of his time and his talent. And he is a great servant to the state of Washington. And I couldn't think of a better person to come up here and talk today than Lieutenant Governor Brad Owen. Brad.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. Actually, the term is not night in Spain. It's actually dawn. And I'll give you a little trivia about that. When you receive a recognition or award or an honor like that in Spain, when a guy does, the spouse gets gets the title and gets the fringe benefits that the man does. But when a woman gets a recognition award or a title, guess what the husband gets? Zippo, zero, nothing, nada. But anyway, so now so my wife is Danya. So when I go home and she tells me to take the garbage out, it's yes, Danya instead of yes, dear. And first off, I want to say my deepest thanks and appreciation to all of you for being here this morning and helping out community and schools of Lakewood. And if there were any skeptics in the room about why you do this, I think with these marvelous kids up here and their stories and their backgrounds and why they need help certainly should make true believers out of you by now. And what I want to do is say thanks a million for your personal and financial support, but also tell a few things about why it's important what you do. The stories we've heard have been compelling, but and Dave mentioned the results of the 5-year study on community and schools showing that CIS model resulted in the strongest reduction in dropout rates of any existing dropout prevention programs that have been evaluated, and it validates that what we all knew in our hearts to be true. But the report also demonstrates the positive impacts that a coordinated community effort can have on children's academic performance and personal well-being. CIS of Lakewood is the linchpin of the kind of community effort to help our youth, doing an incredible amount of good for Lakewood and the surrounding area. Lakewood is a very diverse community, has a higher percentage of residents living below the poverty level than the state as a whole. And this can present challenges for our young people that are best solved by the community, hand in hand with the schools, all the different entities and parts of the community working together with the schools to help these amazing kids. Now, many years ago, we established in my office a theme of helping kids grow up healthy and safe communities with opportunity. And that's one of the reasons that I truly appreciate what Communities and Schools is doing. This organization ties directly to the mission that we have in our office. The job of helping kids grow up safely in our communities is one that never ends and changes with every new generation, especially among the high-risk youth that we're dealing with today. Now, kids today face more challenges than ever before, helped by advertising, and by peer pressure that encourages them to drink, smoke, use drugs. And over the past 5 years, the number of alcohol ads, and this is what I'm getting at, when I'm talking about why what you do today is incredibly important, why the contribution that you make in the sports you give to community and schools is important. The past 5 years, the number of alcohol ads seen by youth ages 12 to 20 has increased 41%. And a 2006 study showed that alcohol ads to young people see causes them to drink more. I mean, that's kind of a duh moment right there. Of course, that's what advertising does. But as awareness of this has grown, however, the statewide efforts to counteract this pressure has grown, and the good news is that it is working. Just last week, the Washington Department of Health came out with its biannual Healthy Youth Study. We do this every 2 years and come out with a report. It's very helpful for us. And there was some good news. A decrease overall in alcohol use, with more kids saying their parents talked to them about drinking alcohol. And by the way, if you have not talked to your child or your grandchild or a child in the neighborhood yet about that, and you want to get some tips on how to go about talking to them about it, go to starttalkingnow.org for tips on talking to kids about alcohol. Now, at the governor's urging, the Washington State Liquor Control Board voted last November to ban the newest entry into the world of alcoholic beverages, energy drinks with 12% alcohol as well as caffeine and sometimes other stimulants. And that was done following the hospitalization of 9 Central Washington University students, okay, that had been overindulging on that thing that looks like an energy drink. Now, this month, they made the ban permanent. They made it permanent. At the request of a group of attorney generals, including Washington's Rob McKenna, the FDA is studying whether these products are safe. Of course, that's another dumb moment. Of course, they're not safe. These drinks with names like Four Loko are prepackaged in brightly colored cans and often are fruit flavored and look just like the pure energy drinks. So it's not a big surprise that they're appealing to young drinkers. And as a matter of fact, it's not a mistake either. The alcohol industry knows exactly what they're doing in this instances. The manufacturers' marketing teams are very good at what they do, and in my opinion, they should get the I Don't Care About Kids award presented to them. So we've had successes, but there's still more work to do. The survey highlighted some areas of concern as well. Declines in cigarette smoking continue to stall. An increase in new candy-flavored tobacco products is a growing concern. Marijuana use has gone up among 12th graders, and the perception of harm has gone down in 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. And we've known this for years. You can draw a graph. We've got the graphs. We've seen them. That shows when the perception of harm goes down, use goes up. And that's what we're seeing right now. Now, reports of bullying have held stable. As I state, one of the most effective things that we can do for our families is to continue to develop statewide and community-based strategies that will reduce the bullying of our kids and the exposure they have to harmful substances like alcohol, marijuana, and other illegal substances. When I was growing up, the bullying, it was like, well, just buck up and take it. Come on, be a man, big deal, Well, that was a stupid thing to say back then. It's a stupid thing to say now. We need to do more to help kids and not be bullying other kids. And then if they are being bullied, how to deal with it. And, of course, there are efforts being taken place right now to deal with that. And I was very happy to see that the President and Michelle Obama came out with an effort and an emphasis on dealing with bullying with our kids in this great nation of ours. And I can relate to the kind of assistance that CIS gives to kids in my own life. While growing up, my mother, my brother, my sister, my brothers and my sister and I were abandoned by a stepdad, and the mobile home we were living in was repossessed shortly thereafter. We could have been homeless, except for the opportunity to move into Salishan Housing Project in Tacoma, where I lived until the 8th grade. Now, my mother could have gone off and gone on welfare or something, but she wouldn't do that. But she did go in and get help from Salishan. Now, what an amazing change that place is taking. I mean, I go through that. Why didn't I get a house like that, man? Come on. I put my fist through the wall in our house, I don't think you could do that with these houses. Now, I've been doing a program for kids, and we were doing it on bullying, and we did a program for kids for 22 years, and as a matter of fact, Claudia and I met many years ago because of that program in Bremerton. And we did our last one last Tuesday at Lister Elementary, my elementary school, and the last one that we're going to do. But it's amazing to see that change. But that Salishan was kind of the helping hand that helped my mom there. So I do know what it's like to be given a helping hand, just as do the 1.3 million students served by community schools across our state and our nation. Now, we've heard some inspiring stories from these youth, including some who have faced real obstacles. I mean, it brings tears to your eyes when you hear these kids talk. Well, I'd like to share a story of a young lady who is a shining example of overcoming adverse circumstances. Her name was Starsha, and she grew up in a household of drug-addicted parents who abused and neglected her. Starsha's mother kicked her out of the house at age 11. And when she moved in with her meth-addicted father, he abandoned her after skipping bail. Already at this early part of her life, Starsha experienced so much adversity. At the fragile age of 15, she began following in her parents' path, no big surprise. She engaged in activities and behavior that landed her in juvenile jail, and that is until she was introduced to her mentor. Her mentor, retired Navy officer Cindy Williams. Working with Cindy turned Starsha's life around, and she helped her overcome the negative aspects of her past and set goals for the future while offering constant support, because that's what mentors do. And Starsha rose up to the challenge. She applied to college, earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice at Washington State University. And as the president of the state senate, I'm also impressed that Starsha led the charge in passing a Washington state law that restricts access to juvenile offender records, something that made her own recovery more difficult as she sought to reintegrate into the community, and that was a problem for her. She's too young for the law to apply to her, but just recently she was pardoned by the governor. So now Starsha is doing her part in helping youth overcome obstacles in their lives and building better futures. I'm not sure Starsha would have been able to turn her life around if she hadn't had a strong mentor. So what is mentoring? It's defined in communities and schools 5 basics that every child needs and deserves as a personal relationship with a caring adult. I see the impact of mentoring through my work as co-chair of Washington State Mentors, statewide umbrella organization supporting quality mentoring programs. And currently, Washington State Mentors is in year 4 of a 5-year study partnering with the Gates Foundation on called Mentoring at Risk Youth. Within the next year, the results will be out, and the results will tell us, what works, what's not working well. There will be some criticisms there. That's good, because that'll tell us where we need to do a better job and how to do it better. And then we will be able to share that with everybody. We are a model in the nation in this area of doing research on mentoring. So we are going to also be the model for the nation on effective mentoring in the future. We will share that with you. New science about human resilience and adaptation emerges. The latest resilience research reveals 3 key systems for resilience. Mentoring is a especially important part of that. It intersects with all 3 systems for building resilience, which include capability, attachment and belonging, and community culture and spirituality. And nurturing these 3 pathways throughout the lifespan is the best known way to prevent problems for our young people and improve people's ability to weather the storms of life. Capability, attachment, and belonging and community. That sounds an awful lot like the 5 basics of communities in schools. And I appreciate those of you here today recognize the needs of our youth and helping to make sure that those needs are met even when times are tough, and the times are tough. Now there's a inverse relationship between a down economy and the increased needs of those who are struggling. When the economy goes down, the need does not go down. The need goes up. But the revenue to deal with it goes down. You know, we're suffering out there, and when you folks here writing out checks and giving money and being volunteers is so critical. So if you are a volunteer, you are very, very important. If you are a mentor, you are very, very important. If you have made your life's work working with others in need, you are very, very important now more than ever. If you are here this morning at this breakfast helping this incredibly important, you are very, very important, more important than ever. And I can't say thank you enough, but I will say thank you very much. Thank you.